My name is Samantha Brooks, and I was 7 years old when my life changed forever. I grew up in a small farmhouse just outside Jackson, Tennessee, surrounded by endless cornfields, patches of forest, and the steady rhythm of the seasons. Life had been ordinary, if ordinary included small arguments over spilled milk, my mother's sharp sighs when she was tired, and my father's disappearing axe behind the barn. Mom and Dad were always restless. My mother, Grace, wanted more than the farmhouse, more than the life of small-town routines. My father, Robert, drifted wherever opportunity or distraction took him. I loved them both, even when I didn't understand them. I believed in their promises. "We'll come back soon, Sam. Just wait." But they didn't. That night, the old Chevy creaked down the driveway. My father adjusted the rearview mirror. My mother gave me a forced smile, and Grandpa stood beside me, his hands buried deep in his pockets. "Just temporary," Mom said. "We'll be back before you know it." I believed her. I waved, pretending I understood. Then the headlights faded, and I was left with the farmhouse's silence. My heart beat loud in the emptiness. That was the last time I saw them for 15 years. At first, I thought they would return, tomorrow, next week, or after Christmas. I sat by the window each day, staring at the horizon, hoping to see familiar headlights. When the mailman brought letters, my heart jumped. Maybe this one was from them. But it never was. Nothing ever was. Grandma held me that first night, rocking me slowly as I cried. "They're gone for now, Sam," she whispered. "But we're here. We'll take care of you." Grandpa never spoke, but his eyes, stern and kind, followed me wherever I went. School was a nightmare. Every time a child hugged their parent at the gate or received a note from home, I felt a hollow ache. I learned to smile, to say polite things, to laugh at jokes about weekend trips, all while feeling invisible. Kids asked about my parents. I lied, saying they were busy in the city working hard. Each lie stabbed me, reminding me I had no story to tell. Christmases were the worst. I wrote letters, messy, hopeful, full of childish handwriting. "Mom, Dad, I have been good. I got an A in reading. Please come home. I miss you." I folded the letters, sometimes kissing the paper, leaving them under the tree. On Christmas morning, I would wake early, heart racing, and find them still there, untouched, forgotten. My grandparents smiled, trying to lighten the pain, but I saw the sadness in their eyes. I tried to forget, but seasons brought reminders. Birthdays passed with empty chairs. School plays, awards, parent-teacher nights reminded me I had no one to celebrate me. Yet stubborn hope lingered, foolish hope perhaps, that they would return. Even the farm was a daily challenge. Grandpa insisted I learn to work alongside him. I fed chickens, milked cows, mended fences, chopped wood. At first, it felt like punishment. More weight on a broken child. Slowly, rhythm came. Physical exhaustion distracted from emotional pain. Grandpa said, "Work keeps the heart steady. Sam." I didn't understand, but eventually I did. My grandparents became my world. Grandma taught baking, knitting, and reading the stars. Grandpa showed me how to fix a leaky roof, guide a mule, handle responsibility. They were aging and tired, but their love never wavered. I became fiercely protective of them, as they were of me. At night, lying in bed, I whispered to the stars, imagining conversations with my parents. I asked why they left, why they didn't love me enough to stay, whether they would ever return. The wind carried my whispered pleas, but no answers came. By 10, I stopped sending letters. By 12, I stopped asking questions. By 15, I no longer sat by the window. I learned to live with the ache, channeling it into work and learning. I poured myself into helping my grandparents, schoolwork, and dreaming of a life that might one day belong entirely to me. Teenage years were complicated. The ache of abandonment never left me, but I learned to mask it. I made friends cautiously, sharing only pieces of myself. I excelled in school, partly from a desire to impress my absent parents, partly to prove to myself I could succeed despite everything. Every milestone reminded me of their absence. My first day of high school, the school dance, graduation. I imagined showing them my achievements, sharing my life. Instead, I shared them with grandparents, teachers, and the occasional friend. Their absence became the shadow I carried, shaping who I was. I spent hours on the farm, learning responsibility. Mornings began with feeding the animals, afternoons fixing fences, evenings studying or reading under the soft glow of the lamp. The farm was more than land. It was a teacher. It taught patience, endurance, and the value of hard work. Grandparents' wisdom shaped me too. Grandma told me, love doesn't always come from the people who gave you life. Sometimes it comes from the people who stay. Grandpa added, strength isn't measured by how much you've been hurt, but by how much you rise afterward. I repeated these words to myself like mantras, letting them embed into my soul. I also discovered the power of imagination. On lonely nights, I imagined my parents returning, imagined confrontations, imagined forgiveness, and sometimes imagined anger. It was a private theater of the heart, teaching me both hope and resilience. I faced challenges at school, teasing from peers, moments of insecurity, and the pangs of seeing other teenagers with loving parents. I channeled these into determination. If I could not rely on them, I would rely on myself. I became independent, thoughtful, and quietly formidable. Friendships taught me lessons, too. I learned trust slowly, love cautiously, and empathy deeply. I realized that while I lacked parental guidance, I could find mentors and friends who shaped me just as strongly. One neighbor, Mr. Caldwell, took a particular interest in my studies, encouraging me to pursue business and farm management. His belief in me became another anchor, proving that family could be chosen as much as inherited. During those years, I began to plan a life beyond the farm. I studied late into the night, researched farming techniques, business strategies, and learned everything I could to turn my small inheritance of love and land into a sustainable future. By 18, I had grown into someone remarkable. The farm was thriving, though still modest. I had transformed chores into systems, animals into steady production, and my dreams into actionable plans. People in town noticed my determination. They respected my work ethic and kind heart. Grandparents aged gracefully. I cared for them as they had cared for me, attending every need, every concern, every story. Grandma's hair turned silver. Grandpa's back stiffened. My responsibility became intertwined with love, honoring the people who had never left me. Business expanded slowly. Local markets bought my produce. Neighbors sought advice. I negotiated sales and supplies, learning the delicate balance of money, trust, and hard work. Each success was a quiet rebellion against the childhood pain of abandonment. Proof. I could thrive alone. Proof I could build what was denied to me. Yet the shadow of my parents lingered. Every letter unsent, every visit missed, every missed milestone whispered in the corners of my mind. I learned to forgive internally, but never forget. Forgiveness was for peace, not restoration. I began to mentor younger kids in the community, especially those facing hardship. I saw in them the same longing I had felt. A parent missing. A family broken, hope fading. My guidance became a living testament that resilience, love, and choice could replace absence. 15 years after they left, my parents returned. I saw them at the edge of the driveway, older, weary lines of time etched in their faces, but still carrying entitlement. Their eyes met mine with a mixture of hope and assumption, unaware of the life I had built. "My name is Samantha," I said quietly, "and this is mine." They smiled nervously. "Samantha, we're back, the farm. It belongs to us." I looked at them and saw the people who abandoned me, yet I also saw their irrelevance. The farmhouse was not a relic of my childhood sorrow. It was a living testament to love, loyalty, and work, the values my grandparents instilled. "You're late," I said calmly. 15 years late." They faltered, words caught in their throats. We didn't know," my mother started. "You didn't care," I interrupted. "If you had cared, you would have returned. You missed birthdays, Christmases, graduations, every moment. And now you think you can claim what's mine?" I gestured to the fields, the barns, the farmhouse. "This is what love built, and not you. Not your promises. Hard work, loyalty, and love. That's why it belongs to me." They were silent, realizing all the years lost could never be reclaimed. The farmhouse, the farm, the legacy, I had earned them. I had lived, thrived, and built what they could not. I never spoke to them again. They returned to the city, carrying regret while I stayed. I stayed to honor my grandparents, tend the land, and live the life I had fought to create. Family isn't always blood. Family is love, loyalty, and care. My grandparents had given me that. And because of them, I survived, grew, and flourished. I was Samantha Brooks. I had waited. I had suffered. I had persevered. And in the end, I had become everything they had never returned to see.